Live from the Rendezvous Talk Music USA studios, here's your host, Robert Lee Balderrama.
I'd like to welcome a great friend and great musician, JoeyOTV. Welcome to Talk Music USA, Joey.
Hey, bro. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being on Talk Music USA. And it's a pleasure to see you again. I saw a video of you playing down in Central America with your tribute band, the Start Me Up band. You guys really sounded great, and the crowd was unbelievable. It seemed like as big as a crowd as the Rolling Stones would have, and you really sounded great like the Rolling Stones. Can you tell me more about that, Joey, and future gigs?
Well, for the last over 11 years now, going on 12, I've been playing with Start Me Up, the Rolling Stones tribute, and that's been just a riot. I guess to give you an idea of how this all came about and why I'm doing it, you know, if you think, Bobby, about like, you know, when you guys were kids and you were starting to play, when you came up at a time where, you know, local radio supported local bands. So, you know, you guys and all the other various local bands basically were getting airplay and having hit singles, and you guys went beyond that with having a national number one. When I was a kid and, you know, a teenager and starting to play, the whole scene was different. Local bands were not getting airplay and getting signed. So what it was you were playing 5-6 nights a week in these kind of like big concert clubs from state to state. That's what I started doing. And, you know, you kind of have to be adaptable, I would say, to survive, you know, making money, or I should say making a living, which is probably overall the hardest thing to do in music. So anyways, at some point, you know, the 5-6 nights a week thing was gone.
I do remember playing 5 or 6 nights a week down in Detroit and the clubs, and it was a great time. But nowadays, most bands just play 1 or 2 nights on the weekends.
You know, that didn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. So at some point, we decided to put Start Me Up together. And the goal was to headline big concerts anywhere in the world, which took us to Nicaragua first. Matter of fact, that was basically the second year we were together. We played Nicaragua, which was an amazing gig. That was our first taste of like headlining to, like for instance, our very first gig was Alpena, Michigan, and we played to 2,500 people, which for us, that was great, you know, that was awesome. We did a few other gigs after that, and the next thing I knew, we were in Nicaragua headlining to 15,000 people, you know, with another 3,000 to 5,000 people waiting outside, listening to us and nowhere to put them, you know, they couldn't even get in the place. At some point then, a couple years after that, is when we went to Honduras, which was the most over-the-top thing we'd ever done. We headlined to 100,000 people.
Wow.
Our concert was a live simulcast all over the whole country, and they also re-aired it throughout the night. We had a police escort to and from the show. I remember after we were done, and we got mobbed, I mean, by screaming girls everywhere. And it was also the last show we played with our original singer, Scott Gast. And our little brother Scott was with us. We formed the band with Scott. Paul Leatherer, the drummer, myself, and Scott formed the band. And it took us, well, we started talking in probably 2009, played our first gig, and we rehearsed and played our first gig in 2010. By the time 2011 came around, we had played Nicaragua, and it was towards the end of 2014 when we played in Honduras. And I remember it was hilarious to me having all these girls making a fuss over us. And I remember saying to Scott, I says, this is what girls are pulling out our hair and pulling out our clothes and everything. And I said to Scott, I said, the funny thing about this is on Monday, Donna's going to be yelling at me to take out the trash, and he just thought that was so hilarious. And I said, how are we ever going to get to, they had this big like van over here and we couldn't get to it. And I said, we got to get out of here. These people are tearing us apart. And Scott looks at me and goes, no, I love this. I don't want it to end. I don't want it to stop. So, I mean, Scott was younger than us. Scott was 30 at the time, and then he was 30 when he passed away. So, I mean, for us, yeah, we loved it. It was fun, and it was the best experience we've ever had. But for Scott at 30, I think that was all he had dreamt about was, screaming girls and thousands of people. And, we all kind of wanted that, but I think Scott certainly wanted it way more than any of us. And nobody enjoyed that gig more than Scott. And I think about Scott every day. I mean, every day I think about him. And I will for the rest of my life. I mean, he helped us build that band from scratch, and we took it from Scott's basement to 100,000 people, literally. So I was very happy that he had those experiences with us. I mean, it means the world to me, what we accomplished together. So.
My condolences to Scott's family, you, Joey, and your bandmates. God bless. You mentioned to me about you being on national TV next year with your tribute band, Start Me Up. Can you tell me more about that, Joey?
After Scott died, we got Bob to sing for us. And crazy thing is Bob passed away too. Bob passed away from cancer. And, we've been through a lot. And that kind of brings us to current various points. We've sort of taken some time off. It never meant that we broke up. It just meant that we were not playing. It's kind of like the Stones themselves. If they're not touring, that doesn't mean they broke up. It just means they're not touring. And we've been through a lot, man. And this year, which is 2020, we got wiped out. All of our dates canceled because of the coronavirus. And out of the blue, we're sitting home with all these dates canceled. Our whole summer tour canceled. And I get these messages through Facebook asking us to be a part of a show, a national TV show. They want us for season 1, and it's called Tribute Wars USA.
So how's it going with the show?
A lot involved when you're dealing with a network, when you're dealing with a producer of a TV show, where it's not like just a regular gig. You're part of a big machine at this point, and a lot of people have say in what you're doing. So everything has to be cleared, and everything has to be discussed, not just amongst the band, but amongst other people involved with the show. And we're playing on March 10th of 2021, so it'll be this coming March 10th, which happens to be my father's birthday. My father passed away 2 years ago, and my dad would have been 100 years old on March 10th. So it's ironic that we're playing right on his birthday. And this is at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, which is in Hollywood, Florida. And tickets are on sale now. And the last I heard, the show is expected to sell out because tickets are selling well already. So anybody that wants to come to see us for Tribute Wars USA, and the concert is being filmed live right at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
What station is the show going to be on?
The show will air on PBS. And like a lot of TV shows, they tape in the fall, or I'm sorry, they tape in the spring and then air in the fall. So I think somewhere around August, around August 1st or so, they start airing. And they're now, with PBS, there are 350 affiliates that are going to be airing the show. And the affiliates, like the local PBS station has say of what day and time. So if it airs at a day and time in Michigan, it could be a totally different day and time down in Tennessee. And so you have to be aware of that or find that information out. And I know they're also selling season passes, because Tribute Wars basically is like a battle of the bands of tribute bands from all over the whole country. And I know they've got some Cheap Trick bands, ELO, gosh, I'm spacing here. The important thing is you see the Rolling Stones night with Start Me Up. That's the important thing. I apologize that I can't remember, but there's 13 episodes, which means there's 26 bands playing. And everybody's good, or they wouldn't be there. There's a ZZ Top night. I do remember that. But like I said, everybody's good. Like I said, that's why they're there. So make sure you check that out on PBS.
Is there a voting for the TV audience to be involved in?
I know the voting is at TributeWarsUSA.com. And it's amazing that I'm remembering all this stuff. But anyways, you have to log on to their website in order to vote. And I think the voting is through August 1st through December 1st. And then I think right on New Year's Day on January 1st is when they announce the winner of the grand prize. And then I think it's the top 5 bands out of 26 are all going to win something. So anyways, make sure and check that out.
I'll be looking forward to watch Tribute Wars USA with your band Start Me Up on there. Thank you, Joey. I know it's hard for musicians to go watch other musicians play because they're usually playing about the same time. I'd really like to come and see your tribute band play, or even your JoeyO band. Are you going to be playing in Michigan next year? And do you got any other gigs lined up around the country?
Well, so far for next year, we're playing, it would be Florida, Tennessee, and Indiana. Unfortunately, we do not have anything booked yet for Michigan. That could change, and I guess you just keep tabs on our Facebook and website. The website is startmeuptribute.com. There's also JoeyOBand.com. There's also, I know you had asked about videos and stuff. I do have a YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, just do a search for JoeyOTV, and I think it's the Start Me Up Tribute and JoeyOBand.com. Those are all lowercase. With the YouTube channel, I think it's capital JoeyJoey, and then capital O and capital T and capital V. So JoeyOTV. But anyways, and Start Me Up is also Start Me Up Tribute is on. We have a YouTube channel also. So
That's great. So the people can go to your websites and check out and see what's going on. Thank you, Joey. What is your favorite style of music, Joey? I heard you play some blues before. I was really impressed with that.
well, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that a lot, especially coming from you, Bobby. As far as music stuff, I mean, I guess, look at it this way. The 70s, I mean, the bar was so high. There were so many great bands, and the music scene was so diverse, and FM radio was so diverse. So it was fun, and it was exciting, and I can remember being 14 and riding my bike to, whether it was records and tapes galore or Kresge's even, to buy new albums and stuff. I grew up listening to so many different bands, a lot of different guitar players. I guess when I started playing guitar, that's when I was gravitating towards blues stuff, because I remember in Los Angeles, everybody would say to me, "Oh my God, you're a blues guitar player," and I'd be like, "Well, I guess," and they'd say, "Oh, you must listen to Johnny Winter," and at that time the answer was no. Oh, you must listen to this guy or that guy, and it was always, the answer was no. So when I came back to Michigan, I was determined to check out all these people. And it was fun to discover a lot of these different guitar players. Obviously, like Eric Clapton's kind of always been in the picture. By the time I was old enough to have any kind of memories about anything, he was already famous. He was huge in the 60s, and his work in the 60s is certainly my favorite stuff he did. Freddie King ended up being probably my overall favorite guitar player. I love Freddie's stuff. I really love the stuff he did in the 70s on Shelter. I would say I have to mention Jan Ackerman from Focus, because he was the first guitar player I'd ever heard in my life that, let's put it this way, up to that point, I'd heard guys that I really enjoyed their playing, and I really liked what they did. But Jan Ackerman was the first guy that made me freeze in my tracks and stop what I was doing and turn the radio up, and just all I could think of, who in the hell is this guy? He is freaking amazing.
I do remember the song Hocus Pocus by Focus, and it kind of blew me away too. His guitar playing was just beyond me.
So it was a really life-changing moment when I heard Ackerman with Focus. Jeez, what a guitar player. Interesting, he's not a blues guy. Very melodic and so much technique. Probably the first virtuoso I'd ever heard was Ackerman. But as far as guys I like, he's the three I mentioned so far, and then I probably Robin Ford would have to go in there as the fourth guy, for as much for his tone as his playing. And from there, I could go on and on with the guitar players that I like, because I just like so many different players. But as far as people that I love, that have moved me and influenced me and inspired me, I don't know, those four guys, I could start with them and then just go on and on. So
I know what you're saying. I have a lot of favorite guitars too. I have a lot of favorite jazz guitarists that I could go on and on. Thank you, Joey, for being on Talk Music USA. I had a great time listening to all the great things that are happening for you with the tribute band, Start Me Up, and the JoeyO band too. I look forward to seeing you on TV on PBS for the Tribute Warriors show. And thank you very much for being on Talk Music USA.
Well, Bobby, I can't thank you enough for thinking of me and getting a hold of me to do this. If I was talking, about my earliest memories, and in all fairness, your old band, Question Mark The Mysterians. I don't have memories of being 2 or 3 years old, but if I think about what are my earliest memories, it would have to include you guys. I've been friends with you my whole life. You guys, for as long as I can remember, you guys have all you guys from the Mysterians have been a part of my life. You inspired me. When I think back to, my brother, a lot of people don't know this, but my brother, the Colonel, was the road manager for Question Mark The Mysterians back in Q's heyday. So when you guys had 96 Tears out, my brother was on the road with you, and you guys were all young and having way too much fun. And even as a little kid, I can look back and think, you know, I knew you guys were a band. I knew you guys were successful and having fun. And I thought, well, I want to do what those guys are doing. That looks like a cool job to have, you know? And so, yeah, it's great to reconnect, and it's good to look back at all the years we've been friends, and we've done shows together where Question Mark The Mysterians and the JoeyO band have played. I mean, we've done shows in Michigan together. We've done shows in Indiana together. And I know you mentioned to me the other day that we need to do that again, and you're right, we do. So, anyways, man, thank you so much. I appreciate our friendship more than you know. I appreciate, you know, the encouragement I get from you with my music, writing, playing, and especially my guitar playing, because you've given me so many compliments over the years, and it means a lot coming from you. So, you know, thanks for having me, and a pleasure to have you as a brother in life, and safe travels. See you again.
I wanted to mention, I just want to thank Joey for being on the show. And I just wanted to say his brother, David Ortega, was definitely our road manager back in the 60s. And I know Joey all my life, since I was a kid. And we've always been great friends and have mutual respect for each other. And I asked Joey to send me one of his videos of his Start Me Up band. And you're going to really enjoy this because this was recorded down in Central America. Thank you, Joey.
Put your hands together for our very own Mick Taylor, Joey O.